All right, this is a video for throwing the straight right hand. So there's a distinction between the straight right, which comes out like a jab, except from the rear side, and is initiated with a foot rotation. Between a straight right, which is that, and a cross, which is usually thrown from a different foot position, where the elbow comes up, allowing the fist to come around the opponent's defense, right? Now, depending on your foot position related to your opponent, or relative to your opponent, you're not going to be able to throw certain punches. So if your feet are aligned, right, if both of you have feet that are parallel, because you're directly on each other's center lines, you're not going to be able to throw a cross because you're going to throw it right into their forearm. That's why you throw the straight, and the straight slips in, right? We used to have this saying where when you're standing up like this, you have window, door, window, right? So if you throw a straight, you're trying to get in through the front door. If you come out here, you're throwing a cross because you're trying to come in the window. So I want you to just kind of think about that while we're going through this. A lot of people don't make a distinguish, or they don't distinguish between the cross and the straight, but that's absolutely silly. So when you throw this straight, the movement's going to start from the right foot. The foot's going to turn, right? Just like that. As the foot turns, the heel's going to come out. It might even come a little bit past, like being parallel to your center line, right? So as it turns, your foot is going to turn your knee inward. Let's see if I can get that like this, right? So that's the first motion. The heel turns, and that brings your knee inward. And then as soon as you complete that movement of the foot, you're going to drop your weight ever so slightly onto this knee, right? People will often throw their straight with their body coming across their center line. But if you watch what happens here, my head comes past my knee. I'm off balance, and I'm also bringing my head forward, giving the opponent the opportunity to counter. That's not what you want to do. So I'm going to keep my weight on this foot. I'm going to rotate, and then concurrently with the rotation of my leg, right, my heel's going to turn my knee. My knee is going to bring my hip forward. The hip moving forward is going to bring my shoulder forward. The shoulder is going to pull my elbow forward straight, and then my elbow is actually going to be what delivers the punch. So in real time, like this, what's really happening is my leg's turning. That's bringing my hip forward. My hip is bringing my shoulder forward, and then my shoulder is bringing my elbow forward, and the fist moves as a consequence of all the other activities of the body. Notice how my elbow isn't flaring out. This is what allows for you to be able to throw a straight punch that's going to come in between the guard, right? Now, if you want to throw a cross, mechanics are the same. The only difference is I'm going to let this elbow come out even with the shoulder. Notice the trajectory of my fist changes. It comes out from here, it comes inward. That's because I'm trying to come in through the side window, right? Everything else stays the same. I rotate, I drop that weight, and then I bring it back. Now, an overhand, an American haymaker, same exact process. The only difference is when I throw it, the shoulder's gonna break the elbow's gonna break the plane of my shoulder. Bang, right? Another different trajectory entirely. And again, I'm gonna wanna have my feet angled out so that I can throw that shot. So I want to try to come over the elbow. For people who have a really solid defense here, the whole point is to come up and get at the top of the fist to the cranium. So, right, we have a straight, we have a cross, and then we have an overhand. Straight, cross, overhand. At the end of each of these punches, you want to make sure you always bring your hands right back to your neutral position. You want to have your elbows in. You want to have them protecting your ribs, and your hands up protecting the mandible. And again, I'm going to keep my chin tucked. I'm not going to pull it in so I'm looking down. I'm going to pull my head back and make sure that my shoulders, when I slip, are covering and protecting. I'm keeping my eyes on the target. So hopefully that's a clear understanding of the straight, the cross, and the overhand.